If you haven't seen this game's character models yet, oh boy, you are in for a treat. Here's NTE's character designs in a nutshell. 1, they know what we want. Yup. And 2, they've got a lot of designs. NTE already has an insane library of skins for each character. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that some characters in NTE have more skins than some entire games do for their entire roster. And make no mistake, their quantity does not drop their quality. And there will be plenty of proof of that in this video. Starting with her, Zankou, NTE's newest drop. Oh boy, her design is so spicy and she is bad in all senses of the word bad. Like actually, she is evil. A playable villain, if you will, but man, if Zankou is wrong, I don't want to be right. One thing that first stood out about her to me is her unique hairstyle, which I kind of classify as a hybrid between a short and long style, because the short front style is kind of standalone and kind of gives the illusion that it's short all the way around until you see the back of her, where her back hair has a life of its own with its long parting ponytails that kind of reminds me of blades on both sides. Then she's got a mean, voluptuous silhouette with her legs exposed on the sides of her skirt panels, resulting in some not so accidental service shots every now and then. And of course, some nice chunky open sandals that always fit the Oriental swordsman aesthetic. It's actually a dynamic outfit that changes with combat state. Pay attention to her legs and that gradiented galaxy shader that comes and goes. I especially love the alt outfit with the daring chest design that does tease you a little with the, the little panel draped over it. And do notice how the asymmetrical legging design beautifully captures the detail of the sandal thong interaction in the mesh. That is very nice. It's very nice. You'll also notice this on her enhanced state's red leggings, and the enhanced state legs are different in her alternate outfit as well. Now, admittedly, the thing is, we have no shortage of swordswomen in this genre and in gaming in general. So the question becomes, can Zankou keep it fresh even though this is a kind of overrepresented archetype? And I would argue, yes, she does. One thing that stands out in her combat is this rope swinging mechanic that actually adds a lot to her animation flavor with some circular and pendulum-like movement, and is super fun to zip around with in combat, to break up the traditional sword slashing playstyle. Though don't get me wrong, these are some very fluid and dynamic animations even without that special mechanic. And it is a nice touch that she pulls it out when she parries or dodge counters. It makes sense as an evasive maneuver, and it's quite rewarding. But another big part of her design that sets her apart both in and out of combat is the illusion motif. Her Esper ability allows her to create illusions in people's minds psychologically. And it's pretty genius how they've portrayed and woven this into her combat and also some walk around QOL. So she has this illusion state that not only has this interesting semi-transparent shader, but allows her to go undetected against enemies and things like the Pink Paw's bank heist surveillance. Even allows her to drop aggro versus hostile civilians, given that you were the one that trolled them in the first place, and yes, you can even drop aggro of police after being an absolute menace to everyone in the city. Her illusion ability also shows up a lot in the trailers, where it's kind of brutal how she uses this to mercilessly turn people to attack their own friends and allies. But most of all, I like how they portray it in the combat itself, where you'll see her split into her illusion and some attacks. Her special animations also reflect this in one way or another, but this is actually my favorite animation from her. Like from her expression in the reflection to her mid-air wind-up with this subtle secondary leg wind-up. That does open the windows of the bakery for a split second there. And this distortion line effect that comes with a slash explosion and that window to the galaxy it seemingly opens up in that crevice that it leaves. But one thing that I do believe in where she will make a name for herself and break the rules of traditional characters in this type of game is how she's said to be an unapologetic villain. And it does really seem like NTE is breaking the pattern of villain who, like joins the party and then suddenly is one of the good guys. Zankou is shown to not feel any need to redeem herself as a good guy in any kind of way. And that's always been a challenge because, the character is going to be playable, so they interact with the MC, but how do you make it so that they're not a good guy? I'm really curious as to how they're going to pull that off. But one interesting detail that I love is that in their intimacy system, which is called affection for everyone else, is instead called obsession for her. That's kind of genius, I'm not gonna lie, but I'll leave it at that. I'm not trying to spoil the experience of her villainousness any more than that. I also love the palette combo that they chose for her eyes, brows, and even makeup. And there's something about how they did her lashes because, it's not the traditional black or brown lashes, but it does seem more natural than other characters that have light lash designs, but it comes off like kind of a little too striking and a little too contrasty. And then the iris palette, it's definitely gloomy, but it's not dull. And then you've got a mole spotted under her left shoulder blade and another one on her right mammary, and this particular skin of hers makes sure to show those off. And oh dear, she is using the treasure in between the mountain peaks technique in full force here. And I gotta say, that's a simple but lovely leather shader that they've cooked up there. And that's just a little taste. They got some more skins of her, and the thing with NTE 2 is they drop the skins along with the character. Like, that's pretty nice because you're not gonna have to wait months after the character drops before a skin drops, and it's not just one skin, it's multiple skins coming out at the same time. Their casual stuff's really good too, like this one's really cute, especially the little curled style she's got going on, and you can even see a subtle hair effect from the sweater. Yeah, they try a lot of different angles in this game, and they also play around with the, the semi-PBR look. So definitely worth a look if you need some outfit inspiration. And yes, sir, we do have summer skins for multiple characters, and yeah, I've accepted the fact that we're probably gonna have to do this every summer now. But it's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining. Zankou is rocking that black and violet again, seems to be her go-to color scheme, and as if we haven't seen enough of her beautiful and well-proportioned legs. Mint's got that oversized straw hat, and straw hats sure are a thing this summer, huh? Look how detailed that balloon ribbon thing is though. Oh, and don't worry, male enjoyers, they've got something for you as well. So the male MC's got that ab texture reference, and do note the subtle asymmetry of the pecs and the abs because people usually don't have perfectly symmetrical abs. So good on them for getting that correct, and that's another reason to not mirror unwrap your torsos so that you can account for this detail. Then you've got Chaos on the other hand, showing the clothed version and giving you a nice stretch crease example for males of the skin tight clothing on his ripped body. Crocs in sports mode, junk in sports mode. This guy is on a mission. And then you've got female MC and a nice hat, I guess. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love female MC. So yeah, fun game, great models, and I should say don't sleep on NTE, but do have yourselves a good night.